Coming up on Network Africa. 55 years after becoming an independent state, Nigeria's founding fathers always wanted a united Nigeria. Plus, President Muhammadu Buhari acknowledges the daunting task of tackling Nigeria's current challenges, calls for unity in addressing the issues. And South African protest for government-alleged corruption scandals. Opposition wants President Jacob Zuma to resign. Hello and welcome to Network Africa. I am Adeshewa Josh.
Long remembering, history had been made in and by the Western region. The future, with all its golden promise, lay ahead.
Memory lane to Nigeria's independence 55 years ago, men and children alike cheering ecstatically to the prospect of a truly independent and prosperous Nigeria. Well, before independence, there was a lot of preparations towards building a prosperous nation. And one very memorable moment was the Lancaster Conference in London in the year 1958, where founding fathers, including Chief Obafemi Awolowo, a nationalist and statesman, met to set the foundation of the Nigerian state.
If Nigerian leaders and our British partners are to prove themselves worthy of their trust, now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria. It is to this end that my colleagues and I pledge ourselves. The first main task of the conference is to resolve those problems which defied solutions in 1957 and to evolve for Nigeria a constitution of which both the British and the Nigerian peoples can be proud. The second is to get Her Majesty's government to agree to April 2nd, 1960 as the target date for Nigeria's independence. Independence for Nigeria in 1960 is imperative. But independence for Nigeria as a corporate entity is not enough. The peoples of Nigeria must at the same time be guaranteed their freedom. We must ensure that in an independent Nigeria, individual citizens throughout the land enjoy liberty, human dignity, and equality under the law.
Late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Well, the streets may not be lined with cheering compatriots today like it was on the eve of independence over 5 decades ago, but the expectations of many Nigerians have indeed seen highs and lows and is still very high. But remembering today, some Nigerians demand more from their leaders.
Administration, they are really trying. Well, we want more good things to come. Well, I think the president is trying, and I think we are expecting the ministerial list pretty much soon. So I think he is going to perform. We thank God for electricity. We thank God for our refineries. They are working now. So we want change, and I think the change we voted for is here.
The improvements I would love to see is the dollar rates. I would really appreciate if they can, reduce the amount from how much it is now, because if you go outside and you want to change dollar, you hear dollar is like 242. But if they can bring it down a little bit so that business can pick up, because right now business has been slow. Everybody's very reluctant to travel because everything is like twice of the normal price, and it's really not encouraging we business people to trade. So I'd really appreciate if everything changes so we can celebrate next independence happily.
It's been okay. Considering my workplace, for example, power has been good. It has been okay, considering the previous times where we spend more money on generator and fuel for the past previous dispensation. But currently, I think power has improved, which I believe will be better. I'm not saying it's better now, but it has improved, and so more can be done about it.
I want government to encourage startups financially, because startups, businesses are dying. They don't even start up at all because of the lack of financial aid. And in the country, in a country like Nigeria, Lagos to be precise, we have a lot of young adults who have the talent, who have the skills, who have the technical know-how to become, great entrepreneurs. But the only thing hindering them is financial aid.
Let it go.
And the expectations goes on. So 55 years on, Nigeria has had its ups and downs. We have had our fair share of political crisis, civil war, and economic downturn. We've also had, during this period, 8 military heads of state and indeed 8 successful coups, 7 civilian presidents, with 4 successful elections in 1999, 2007, 2010, and 2015. Nigeria is now in the 4th Republic, as it is called, with 16 years of democratic rule. Everyone is asking, are we far from where we started? Joining me in the studio to discuss this is a senior advocate of Nigeria and indeed a nationalist in the First Republic, Alhaji Femi Okunnu. Welcome to Network Africa.
Thank you.
I'm particularly excited to have you here because you can help us throw more light and understand how we have come, because you were there from the very outset. So, what are your thoughts about Nigeria's current realities?
Well, the Nigeria of today is still far from the Nigeria which we dreamt of. In the 50s, when I was a young budding lawyer, called late 50s and the 60s. In those days, we were looking for the independence and the unity of Africa, for Nigeria to lead the crusade. We were disappointed that at the beginning, Nigeria was allied with the Western powers instead of the middle ground which we wanted Nigeria to occupy. But we've moved on since then. There have been ups and downs. There have been coups. There have been progress. There have been downturns and so on and so forth. The independence of Africa has come and gone. The unity of Africa is still far behind. The unity of Africa, economic and political unity of Africa. The political and independence of Nigeria is also we are still struggling towards it. As a nation, we still haven't become a nation. We are a nation of Yorubas and Igbos and Hausas and Shakiris and Obibios and so on and so forth. I would like Nigerians to start thinking, all of us, as Nigerians. As a Chinese would be proud to say anywhere in the world that is not a Cantonese, is a Chinese, 1.3 billion of them. As the Indian, 1.3 billion instead of 150 or so, which we are. The Indian anywhere in the world would say is an Indian, not a Gujarati or somebody from Madras and so on and so forth. So in short, the Egbe Omo Yoruba, Egbe Afenifere, Ohaneze, Arewa should confine themselves to the cultural areas and leave politics to politicians, to political parties, so that we would then forge the one Nigerianness, and everybody, wherever you are born, whether in Maiduguri or Sokoto or Kano or Port Harcourt or Calabar or Benin or wherever you are born, you'll be proud to say you are a Nigerian, not from southeast or northeast and so on, you are a Nigerian. We are yet to reach that stage.
But you can tell from late Obafemi Awolowo's speech that that was always the plan. He said, one Nigeria. So where did we get it wrong? Who put those thoughts in our heads? And what do you think?
Well, I related to Chief Awolowo in the late 50s. I was at that time the secretary and later president of Nigeria Union of Great Britain and Ireland. In 58, and I saw the script about him in 58. I remember that year very well. They came to London for Constitutional Conference.
That's right.
They were there in 1957 to London, again in 58, and we students, young Nigerians, about 10,000 of us, the union represented 10,000 Nigerians, and we had 33 branches throughout the Great Britain and Ireland. And we felt that they should hold the conference in Lagos instead of coming to London every time for constitutional conferences, because they were wasting our money. I was glad to see the three giants at that time who were the fathers of our independence. But you see, at that time, we still had three strong regions, three strong regional governments, the northern region, the western region, and the eastern region. And we wanted one Nigeria. So our hero at that time, in 58, when we demonstrated against all of them, our hero was Tafawa Balewa, because he represented Nigeria. But having said that, down the line, and I'm happy that in 1967, General Gowon created 12-state structure. I, speaking for myself, I wish Nigeria still retained the 12-state structure, which we have instead of 36 states we have. I hope we don't create any more states. The downturn in the economy, especially with the states taking a begging bowl to Abuja, they can't pay salaries for months and so on. I hope those who are still clamoring for state creation would stop that gamble,
Alhaji Okunnu,
and we leave it there.
So
the downturn after the Civil War, things started to go wrong. Creation of states, subdivision of Nigeria, and the ethnic nationalities began to spring up, and they beclouded the atmosphere.
how do we go forward from here, quickly?
What we can do now, as I've said, think you are a Nigerian every time you are everywhere in the world.
So?
And also we should be patient with this government which says change. We are seeing some signs of change. We are seeing emergent Nigeria.
That's right.
They are trying to reorder the economy and also the rule of law.
Okay, we're going to have...
We should all remember that however high you may be, the law is above you.
Absolutely. So that is the solution that Alhaji Okunnu, a nationalist and a senior advocate of Nigeria, is preferring. Think Nigerian. Coming up on Network Africa.
We have absolutely no aggressive intentions.
Nigeria's foreign policy under review. Director General of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs joins us live on Network Africa.
Aggressive intentions. We shall never impose ourselves upon any other country